Hey, what's going on everybody? DJ B Plus here, and thank you for checking out another recap countdown video. Now I have a good one for you this week. I'll be taking a look at Andy Mineo's The Arrow and also The Sword. Now both of these EPs came out in 2018, both had about 6 or 7 songs on them. So what I decided to do was to put both of those together and do one recap countdown video. Now here he has 3 and 4 of this series coming out this year, but I thought this is a good halfway point to go ahead and pick out some of my favorites on this project, kind of digest this album at the halfway point. So that's what I decided to do. I had a lot of fun putting together this recap countdown video, even sprinkled in some surprises along the way, so make sure you stick around to the end, and thank you once again for checking out this video.
I hate the fact I still love you. I wish that I could turn you off, take the cord to my heart and just unplug you. Man, you my dad, what I did to you to make you not love me mean what I should to you. Look, I don't understand. I jump up a bridge, sitting on your dairy. You're in a pair of your boxes, playing warfare in your Xbox. You work at a pet shop, still couldn't beat your terrier. And on top, what's scarier is how you've been engaged for 10 years and still haven't married her. My bad, man. Some dope moments we shared those. It's weird, yo. When people that I don't know acting like we're close. And lately, all my new friends, just my co-workers. So where I go when my soul hurt. If you knew I about God's power, couldn't see it in my life, but I could tell you all about it. Overloaded with knowledge, making so little progress. Became a public figure, but my struggles weren't private. Only started my life on this. Half my dog life unlearning lies that I heard in a dumb sermon. What I unearthed got me uncertain. More knowledge and more sorrow. Worrying that never fix tomorrow. Just take away all my strength today.
Okay, let's go ahead and hop into the 5 bars here, and let's hop into the deep end with Family Photo. Now I know this was one of the more controversial lines from the project, but I personally did not have a problem with it. I have a great relationship with my father, and I couldn't imagine the things that Andy have gone through in his life and what it took for him to actually sit down and actually write a song like this, a very personal song about something that he's going through. So did not have a problem with that, really enjoyed that line there. Moving on to None of My Business. Now this line just really speaks to the petty in all of us. We all at some point would like to just go this route with people, but we often don't. And I'm very grateful for Andy for doing it in a funny, playful way here in this line with None of My Business. Moving on to number 3 with Friends. I really enjoyed this line. It really resonated with me because I recently went through a move from Cincinnati to Dallas, and a lot of friendships that I thought would last are either non-existent now or one-sided. Now on the flip side of that, I have the honor of working with some amazing people, and a lot of my new friends are my co-workers. So again, that's why that line really resonated with me. Number 2, Shame. I really like that line a whole lot just because being a church kid and grew up in church my entire life, there are a lot of stories that I've heard over and over and over and over again, and you can know the power of God but not always know how to apply and how to exercise inside that power. So really like that line there, especially in your moments of weakness. You know all the right words, you know all the right things to do, but sometimes you don't always execute very well. So like that line there, very vulnerable line right there. And finishing things off with Clarity. Now I could have picked any number of bars from the song Clarity because it really was a great song, had a lot in there, but I decided to go with this one just because I did have to go through a season of unlearning, a season of questioning, a season of just really trying to understand what is it that I believe and not just take on somebody else's faith or just letting my faith just being a denomination, but really understanding what my faith in God was. And this song just really puts a bow on just that whole season for my life and probably for others' lives out there. So let's keep this thing going and look at the 4 beats off of these 2 projects.
One time, yes sir.
Would you still be good to me?
Be good to me, baby.
Would you still be good to me? But could you still be good to me? I ain't done. I ain't done. I ain't done. As long as the breath in our lungs. I ain't done. I ain't done.
Okay, let's move on to the beats. The 4 beats I enjoyed off of this project, kicking things off with Donuts. Now it had a very J Dilla feel to it, but it was produced by Daniel Steele of Humble Beast and also Chad Gardner of King's Kaleidoscope. And I didn't know that Chad was a producer, but he did a great job on Donuts. Moving on to number 3, I Ain't Done. Now, if you want to hear the backstory, the full backstory of that project, just go to the song Anxiety. Listen to the end of that. You'll understand why that's one of my favorite beats off of this project. Moving on to number 2, None of My Business, produced by Vicodin. Just a very uplifting, very free, very loose song. Just a beat that you can really roll down the windows to and ride to. So enjoyed that. And then the number 1 beat I liked off of the project was Shame. Now with Shame, I just really liked the contrast from the first half of the song to the second half of the song. And I thought the producer, Chad Gardner, once again did a great job of just bringing in the live instruments, the horns, just really made it feel like, though the first half of the song was very somber, a lot of heavy issues, there was victory, there was a triumphant end. So I really like the way they ended Shame, which ended the first 2 EPs in this story that Andy's telling.
That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. Ooh, that's all you got. That's it. Come on with it. This side, that's all you got. Let me hear you say, you can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. Together, let me hear you say.
Death to my depression and anxiety. Death to all my stress and what I'm trying to be. I'ma get live, 'cause I'm still live. And if I ain't die, ain't no way I'm giving up now. I ain't done. I ain't done.
That's none of my business. What they think about me, that's none of my business. What they say about me, that's none of mine. That's none of my business. That's none of mine. That's none of my business. That's none of mine. We don't really care what you talking about. That's none of my business. What they say about me, that's none of mine. I bet you if I never had pain, bet you that I never would pray. Trusting even when I don't see. That's the definition of faith. I know I got a problem with control. Hey, arrow gotta fly, let it go. Hey, you never said I wouldn't go through it. You just said I wouldn't be alone. I was so high, thought I'd never land. Now I wanna come down. We just hit some turbulence. What if I let go now?
Okay, let's look at my top 3 tracks off of The Arrow and the Sword. Number 3, I Ain't Done. Now, this is one of those songs that Andy does every so often. It's kind of like You Can't Stop Me 2.0, just a very hype track. I want to go to one of his concerts just so I can hear this song live. I know that it's live in there. I know it's jumping. So that's my number 3. Moving on to number 2. As I said before, None of My Business. It's just a nice song to roll down your windows to and ride to. Every single verse is hitting. The beat is dope, the chorus is fire, so just really enjoy None of My Business. And then Anything's Off. Number 1, my favorite track off of these 2 EPs is Lost. Now, Lost was the last track of the first EP, The Arrow, and I really enjoyed this track just because of the heaviness of the entire EP, but this was a very hopeful, positive ending, just kind of talking about how Andy recovered, how he made it through his bout with anxiety, depression, and the like. So I really liked that. The production was really good with Beam and Weatherman on there, and the additional vocals just kind of gave it like a choir, Sunday morning type feel to it. So there's my number 1 track from these 2 EPs, and stick around here for my 2 favorite features.
From a smile, maybe this time you fall as a flight. What if you're almost there? Almost there.
right, Andy had a lot of good features on these 2 EPs, but I went with Josh Garrels and Dave James. I hope I'm saying Josh Garrels' name right. I may not be able to say his name right, but I am a fan of his work. Man, he has a song, Farther Along, and another song, Born Again. Those have been in rotation of mine for years and years. So I'm a big fan of his work. I really enjoyed him on this track, especially the ending of that song. It was repetitious, but at the same time, it really spoke to the heart of what it is to go through a struggle, what it really is to go through the feeling of shame and guilt. So really like that one. And then also Dave James. I enjoyed this feature so much because this is the reason why I like features, because it puts you on artists that you otherwise would not have ever known about. And then Dave James is one of those guys. I thought the lyrics of Almost were spot on. They were very insightful, made you really want to stop and think. So I went and looked it up, and I found out that that is actually his song, and he has a longer extended version of that song called Almost There. So I really like that feature just because it really put me on to a fresh new artist. So there you have it, my recap countdown of Andy Mineo's The Arrow and the Sword. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review as well as these 2 projects. Now I'm really looking forward to Andy Mineo's chapter 3 and chapter 4. I'm not sure what elements he's going to be using in those 2 EPs, but I really enjoy Andy Mineo in general just because of his creativity, and he is an artist in the truest sense. Even if you look at his album work, if you look at the Arrow's album work, he is looking down. Looks like you're looking at the front of his body. He's looking down as an arrow is shooting up through a cloud. And then when you look at the sword, he actually is standing with his back to us, and he is looking up as a sword is going down through his heart. Now, it's open to interpretation, and I think that that's the reason why Andy does what he does in his writing as well as in his artwork. He puts so much into his music, so really looking forward to parts 3 and part 4 later on this year. Once again, thank you for checking out this album recap countdown, and until next time, peace in and confusion out.